Hey guys, so today is Monday, July 11th, I think. Yeah, that's right. I got this shirt recently, actually from Goodwill. It was very cheap and I got a lot of clothes, which was really nice. I mean, I spent almost like $60, but for what I got, it was a steal. I also got these pants, which I think are nice. Kind of a weird angle to look at it. As you can see, here they are. In other news, on Friday, which was about 3 days ago, I went with my family to New Smyrna Beach. We had 1 can of sunscreen and it was dying. I'll just skip to the point. We were there for a few hours. I got insanely burnt. Probably the worst sunburn of my entire life is hiding underneath this new shirt right now. I don't really know why I'm recording this, but I just want to document just how awful this is, because it is truly not fun at all, and I am not having a good time. So what I'm about to do, maybe I'll add a trigger warning or something, because this does not look nice. I'm gonna show you guys my sunburn. Maybe I'll show like a timestamp to skip to if you don't want to see that. I don't know, but I just want to have it on video because it feels terrible. I really just want it to blister over and tan over and peel, just so that I don't have this terrible burning sensation on my entire upper body. And now it's itching me, and I know that's the start of the peeling, but it's not good. So anyway, oh shoot, I probably shouldn't stand in the sun. As you can see, it's pretty awful. See my arm burnt, here's my back. Completely just kind of leathered over, and it's not even like a full body redness. It's like, what is this? Random parts are red and white, but I'll tell you this much, it feels terrible. I don't even know why I'm recording this. I'm just complaining about it. It's the 3rd day and I just really want it to go away. So there you go. There's my well, that's a reflection. I thought there was a speck in my lens. Thank the Lord though, my face didn't really get sunburnt. Neither did my thighs, because I had shorts on. What else is new? I finally got jeans for the first time. Never actually had jeans before. They're actually pretty comfortable. They fit well, and yeah, I like them a lot. What else is this video supposed to be about? Is it focused? Ah, gosh. Just had a itch attack right there. I am legit not having a good time. But, over this weekend, I've just been watching movies and reading books. I started reading Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I watched Hunt for the Wilderpeople and Deliverance. I also watched Mean Girls. I started to watch The Talented Mr. Ripley and Avatar, actually, but I haven't finished either of those. I also watched this documentary / experimental film. What was it called? It's like Symbio Psychotoxiplasm Take 1. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it wasn't the most entertaining thing ever, but it was interesting. And I'm slowly realizing that the reason I'm even making this video at all is to distract myself from the pain on my body. You know what? Let's dive into that. Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of things that we make or that we do to distract ourselves from some kind of pain. I mean, this isn't really that profound. It's pretty obvious. I mean, there are different things you do. You might eat if you're anxious. You might talk with people and hang out with people, have relationships just to not be alone and not to be stuck with your thoughts. And obviously people can help you with that. I mean, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think you should just have relationships with people just to have them as distractions. I think you should be open and honest with the people who you are closest with. And I think that if you have to hide certain negative emotions or past trauma or just anything that is affecting you in your life, if you have to hide those things, I don't think that's a very good relationship. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I guess I should say that for me, I have a very big thing for honesty. I am almost a compulsive truth teller, and sometimes that's awkward, but other times that kind of breaks up awkwardness with people. It depends on the person, I guess. You know, I like when things can be weird with someone and you can both still connect through that. And even when things are weird, you both recognize that life is weird and being human is weird. Feels weird. God help us. But I mean, that's another thing for me as a Christian. Something that helps with my faith is people who don't brush things aside. This isn't just with my faith in God, but just my faith in humanity, my faith in life itself. People who will accept those things that you don't really talk about in polite company, and we'll dive into them to make you feel less weird, I guess. I really like those people. And I really like those people who seem to have these interestingly deep and profound insights into life that you don't really expect, but it kind of comes out of nowhere, and then you're just like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, that was a cool thing he said. And I think that's cool. And I feel like I've tried to do that a lot with people. It's not gonna work a lot of the time. I feel like it comes off as awkward or weird or conceited, or what's the word for that? Man, I know there's a word for it, and I'm trying to think. There's a scene from the show that I really like that's on HBO Max. It's called Station 11. There's some scene where one of my favorite characters is saying something about this comic book that this girl really likes. That's kind of like the central part of the story. What does he say? Dang it. I'm gonna find the clip and I'm gonna play it here so you'll know what the word is. Now I gotta look it up.
I feel like the show even acknowledges how it comes across at some points.
So pretentious!
That's the word. Yeah, that's the word right there. I feel like oftentimes, especially because I'm a big reader, I'm really into literary aesthetics and discussions and just books that make you feel like you're a little, literary elite in a nice checkered suit in a high society Ivy League school. I don't know, I'm just thinking like Dead Poet Society, one of my favorite movies, as you can see on the wall behind me. But I found, especially after graduating, it's not like anything really changed that much. It's more my perception of things. I found that a lot of things that I attributed to my identity, I guess, as a book nerd, as a movie nerd, as that sophisticated, higher thinking person. I took a lot of that from social media and from the internet and defined myself that way. And it is true, I do watch a lot of movies, I do read a lot of books. Those things do interest me very much. But I've discovered that a lot of things that I thought about myself and I thought about who I was weren't really true. They were more things I attributed to myself. But once I actually interact with people and actually get in the world, have a job and talk with people, I find that I'm more of an ordinary person than I thought I was. I'm learning that that's okay. I don't have to be super quirky or unique or mysterious, I guess. I can just be a normal person who likes books, likes movies a lot. Maybe I just haven't found the right circle to bring out my knowledge of literature and stuff. The last thing I can remember, the last thing that I can remember is like English class and talking about books we had to read for school. And that really interested me. I don't know, maybe this whole monologue is just me reminiscing about English class in my transition between high school and college. I took a couple years of dual enrollment. I really hope I still can take English. I want to minor in English anyway, so of course I will. But to wrap up this segment, my point is, I think a lot of people in my generation, in Gen Z, because I'm 18, I'm gonna be 19 in about a month. I think a lot of us create our identity from social media, from TikTok, from Instagram, Twitter, from YouTube, from the internet at large. And I think that a lot of people are gonna be hit hard and have identity crises as soon as they enter the real world and realize that all these different things they've attributed to their identity fall away because they're not really solid. You can go from different aesthetics one day to the next. You can go from different groups. There's so many different groups. You can be a TikTok boy, or you can be a cowboy, I don't know, Southern. You can be like a skater guy, or a car guy, or an artsy person, or any number of things. I just think we confuse ourselves, in what we think defines us. I think my generation is the one who's grown up completely on the internet. I didn't necessarily. I'd say 5th grade is really when I started getting onto the internet and YouTube and video games and all kinds of digital stuff. These are just thoughts that have been floating in my head, and I've watched YouTube videos on this as well. In some ways, I'm concerned for my generation because there's a lot of mental illness that comes from muddling your identity. I don't know if that makes sense. And there's also a lot of fake mental illness that comes. A lot of people think it's a cool thing to be depressed or anxious or any number, OCD, different numbers of mental illness that really aren't cool things, and they aren't at all fun for people who actually have those. And yet a lot of people my age like to romanticize them. And that's just things that I've become more aware of as I've gone and into the world and met more people through work, through work and school, and just anywhere that you meet people and talk to them. I'm just a little worried for my generation growing up. At the same time, I know that every generation has this transition from being kids to becoming adults. I mean, if I just trash on my generation, it's the same thing as older generations trashing on younger generations, and that's not helpful for anyone. I probably don't know half of what I talk about anyway, but I do think I have a point with where my generation's going. There's many different things that are concerning. The whole discussion on abortion and gender identity. People joining weird religions or just being atheists. I mean, I think there was a quote by, I don't know if it was by George Orwell or what. I know I read a biography on George Orwell. He wasn't really a believer. He was either like an atheist or an agnostic, but even though he didn't believe in God, he still said that with modernism, and I think this was before postmodernism, I want to say it was with modernism, people had, like Nietzsche said, quote, killed God in their minds, in their cultures, kind of forgotten about him. And take this, even though George Orwell did not believe in God, he said that what was left in the absence of the church, in the absence of God in people's life, was worse than having a belief in God, even if he thought it wasn't real. Because he said people are unfounded, unhinged. I just have to find the quote, because I really don't know exactly what it said, but I can think of it in my head. Broadly speaking, he realized that the single most important crisis of the 20th century was the decline in mass religious belief and its corollary in personal immortality. God was dead, and yet the secular substitutes put in his place, whether totalitarianism or Western consumer capitalism, merely travestied human ideals and aspirations. The task facing modern man, as Orwell saw it, was to take control of that immense reservoir of essentially spiritual feeling, all that moral sensibility looking for a home, and use it to irrigate millions of ordinary and finite lives. The atrocities of Nazi Germany and Stalinist Russia could only have been designed by the godless because they presupposed a world in which there was no moral reckoning, and where the only power that matters is the ability to control not only your fellow men, but the history of which they are a part and the knowledge on which that history rests. The idea that there was a life after death was unsustainable, but the moral baggage that accompanied that belief was indispensable. But I think that still rings true today, and even today it's more of a postmodern world. It's gone beyond modernism. Modernism is like people stop believing in God, stop believing in religion, and focus more on science and physical things you could know. And postmodernism goes beyond science and says, no, you can't truly know things. Anything that says that it can explain everything is a lie, and that you should be skeptical of everything. I'm definitely a skeptic in some ways myself, but I am also a believer in God and in higher things. And I realize that I'm rambling now, but certainly helps to help with the pain of the sunburn. I guess that's my point, is I think a lot of people have pain deep inside them that they don't know how to deal with. They don't know how to help themselves. And so they kind of take to doing things that will distract them from. And that can lead to a lot of false ideas circulating in people's heads. I mean, when it comes to drugs, sex, political ideas, and economic ideas. So I hope, I don't know how to wrap this up. I hope that this gave you some interesting ideas to think about. It wasn't really like an essay. I didn't have a clear thesis and a point for you to refute or to agree with. I hope that it was still meaningful. I'll probably provide some sources for videos I've watched that talked about, mental illness in my generation and stuff. I mean, things that I've watched, like I've watched specific videos that made me start thinking about this. Thanks for watching my monologue here in this single room, but that's just what you get when you enter this little room. You wanna know why I use a wide angle lens? Because if I didn't, the room would look like a tiny closet. Thanks guys for watching, I appreciate it. If you got this far, let me know, I guess. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's going on with your life. If you don't wanna comment that publicly, you can DM me. I'd love to have a conversation about anything you want. You just want a friendly conversation with another human? Here I am. That's me, guys. I will see you guys in whatever video I do next. Hopefully the sunburn goes away soon.